Piece, chapter 1121, titled The Ebb and Flow of the Ages. So, this chapter dropped really, really early. Like, from what I'm looking at, it dropped, what, 5 hours ago. It's 2 p.m. UK time when I'm recording this. And it was a really, really early drop because usually chapters drop at 12 p.m., 1 p.m., 2 p.m. in the UK. So at 12, this is like an early morning drop. So I read the chapter. I've read it 3, 4 times now. I've made my notes. I'm able to look at the chapter, see what I like, see what I want to talk about, my theories, if they're right or wrong, and I want to talk about them. So, chapter 1121. So let's begin. So at the beginning of the chapter, we see Saturn attacking, like we saw last chapter. Saturn was attacking the ship with the giants, with Luffy, Sanji, Frankie, Bonnie, and we're watching it. And Luffy notices Bonnie. Bonnie has gone back into Gear 5. She's immediately gone back into it. So, what I said 2 reviews back, 1 review back about Bonnie, she's gone back into Gear 5. However, she is huffing and puffing like Zoro, man. The inhaler is going crazy right now. However, she is looking at Saturn. So, I might talk about this in the chapter, but I want to talk about it now. Saturn, I can remember when a few chapters ago, I remember when, I think it was 11, 18 when, or 17 when Bonnie first went into Gear 5. There was a theory in the community about how, like, oh, Saturn caused Gear 5. He is the main reason for Gear 5. So the Gorosei should go for him, or like after this arc, they should have a panel or like a page talking about how he caused the second Nika. And this is him. Later in the chapter, he basically confirms it, and when it reaches there, I will talk about it. But over here, we see Bonnie looking at him, huffing and puffing, and Luffy notices her and is very aware of her. So, Bonnie she's really, really struggling to maintain Gear 5. Vegapunk's message, now, I want to understand, for the last 3, 4 chapter reviews, I have maintained where I keep saying, oh, his message is over. I want you to know, later in this chapter, I think it's over, but by how it keeps going, I don't know when Vegapunk. So I say, when Vegapunk's message ends, I could add an arc is over. But for now, if you go through the last couple of videos, I have said Vegapunk's message is over, and it hasn't been over. So I'm not sure. Vegapunk's message continues where he talks about the world government, the ancient weapons being active as of the current day right now, and how we see Shirahoshi, we see Vivi, and how he's talking about ancient weapons. So I want to talk about it. So Shirahoshi is Poseidon, but we see Vivi. Vivi could have some tie to Uranus. We still don't know how Uranus works, but the fact that a few chapters ago we saw Imu having a picture of Lily on the wall, since Lily and Vivi look really, really similar in how in chapter 903, 902, between 902 and 905, we see what's his name? We see the god. I've forgotten his name. How have I forgotten the king of the world government? Imu. Yes, Imu. He has a picture of Lily in his throne room. We saw 3, 4 chapters ago. And then we also have Vivi looking like Lily. I say Vivi has to have some tie to Uranus. So we keep going. Vegapunk is about the messages about the ancient weapon, about how it still exists and how it is still in use in the future. We see the panels. We see him talking about Kuma being a buccaneer. We see Whitebeard, interestingly, who talked to Marco about how there was an ancient civilization living atop the red line. Lunarians, and King. King is still active, so I can remember in the 1050, between 1050 and 1055 and 1056, when Shanks did his Wi-Fi hockey, we saw what's it called, King and Queen getting attacked by what's his name, Aramaki. King is what I'm seeing right here. King, this is present day King. King is still active. He's still healing. So King, like what's his name, Drake, a few chapters ago, is still healing, which he has an ancient weapon, ancient zone fruit, which doesn't make sense to me. But if King is still active right here, when I'm making my 10 chapter recap 4 months from now, I'll talk about this, but he's not healed yet, so I might forget this one that chapter, but he's not healed yet, so let's talk about King. King is not healed yet. King is looking fine. Not fine, he still has bandages, but this is current day King. We see Marco talking about Whitebeard, about the tribe living atop the red line. Whitebeard says, I'm talking about the distant past. Back then, there was a kingdom of gods up there. We see King Alunarian. We see Pudding, three-eyed tribe. Very, very interesting to me. I don't understand. Pudding, I don't think I'll put up on screen right now if there's another three-eyed tribe member. I don't think so. King is the only lion we've seen. I'm confident for sure. However, we see Luffy continues to defend Bonnie from Bonnie, like I said earlier, is gone back into Gear 5, and Luffy keeps on defending her from Saturn's direct attacks on her, because Saturn, we saw last chapter, got onto the giant ship. However, he does not care for the giants or Luffy. He is strictly going for the ship and Bonnie this chapter. He's going for Bonnie, and Luffy says enough and hits back her attacks with his feet. Bonnie has a moment where she's going through flashbacks of Kuma's flashback when we saw the God Valley flashback. We see Guinea with the Kuma flashback. We see Sentomaru, Sentomaru and Kizaru still spotted. They're active but not really moving. I just listen to the message, and Bonnie just listening. Ironically, Saturn attacking Bonnie. So, if you were in the One Piece community, there was a theory where people wanted, after Egghead, when the Gorosei go back to Marijua, people wanted the Gorosei to go to Saturn like, yo, you gave what's her name, Guinea's child, Guinea, what's I gonna call her? You give her child the age fruit, Bonnie's fruit, and now she's Nika. That's your fault. And now he himself said, and I quote, "You're mine. You are but a parrot mimicking what you do not comprehend." These are TCB translations, so if it's bad compared to official, I don't care. I prefer TCB, and that is it. But that is Saturn. So Bonnie hits Saturn with a I'm gonna say Gomu no Nika, liberating Nika punch. That is what she hits him with. However, at the same time, I show on screen right now, Luffy has both hands up, because Bonnie has one of her arms out, like when we first saw like those type of ninja sounds like we saw with the Kanjuro, those type of sounds. And then we have Luffy with fists out, both with ornament hockey. Bonnie had one hand out in the type of sound I just made. I apologize to Japanese people. Bonnie had it in a fist with ornament hockey. We see Luffy had two ornament hockey up fists. We see Guinea and Kuma holding Bonnie. And then we see her hit the Nika punch. She hits one punch. So Bonnie in Gear 5 has hit two punches. I remember Bonnie is in Gear 5 is very controversial, but I don't think it is that controversial. Fans just have to accept it. Bonnie hit one punch ornament hockey. Luffy hits, from what I see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 punches with 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 fists still coming at Saturn, not hitting him yet. And those punches are gonna hit Saturn. The next panel, Saturn is out. He is in bits and pieces. Going back, Vegapunk's message has been continued. I like I said earlier in this chapter reaction, Vegapunk I thought it was over 2 years ago by Skipkin. So Vegapunk says he continues talking about how there will still be a time where answers of the Void Century will be revealed to the common people of One Piece, and they must be ready and they must have wisdom, as Vegapunk himself has wisdom in the collective conscious and wisdom of the people in One Piece, that the wisdom and conscious and the science of the world will reveal the truth to the people. He talks about the death of Roger and Whitebeard and the past generation, and how the generation led forth the Golden Pirate era. Roger led the pirate era, and then Whitebeard at Marineford talked about the One Piece is real. He had that moment, and now we are looking forward to it, and we can say, okay, that generation is over. Now it's the next generation. Vegapunk talks about it. Luffy and the Giants celebrate them piecing up Saturn. Bonnie cries, and then we see the Sunny falling. We see Zoro, Usopp, Jinbei, Chopper as the Sunny falls. We just care about it. However, we see a flashback of Roger. We haven't seen this flashback in time. We haven't seen a flashback as Zoro at Logtown, his execution, in long time. We see Kuma smiling after Bonnie hit all those punches. Kuma smiled, and I'm happy we saw Kuma, because Kuma flashback is top 3 flashbacks in One Piece. I don't care if it's recency bias. That's a good flashback. Fuck with Kuma. Kuma's the G. He's so far flashbacks top 5 for me. I love Kuma so much. Let's keep going. We see Rayleigh. Rayleigh after Vegapunk. We see Vegapunk talking about closer to the truth about Roger Pirates. We see Roger flashback. We see Rayleigh sleeping. Saki is covering him. We see Pirates be like, fuck yeah, Vegapunk, you the goat, you my guy. Yeah, like Unc talking about LeBron James hairline. We see Hachinosu asking, Teach isn't here. We see the Red Force Shanks' ship. And then we see Buggy's Island. So I want to talk about, if you watched my last 5 videos, I've been a firm believer Cross Guild and the Black Pants are going to meet on Wano to fight for Poseidon and the Wano Road Poneglyph. So when I was reading this chapter earlier today, I believed amazingly. Oh wow. Oh, Teach is not on Hachinosu, he's going to Wano. However, Buggy and Crossgirl still on Empty Bluffs. Is like, my theory is looking really weak, but I hope that time skip. Please check out my last video about how I look at the timeline. Hopefully I can keep that timeline going. Hopefully Buggy can make his way to Wano and that timeline is keep going. But so far I won't talk about that timeline. Hopefully tomorrow or throughout the weekend and next week Monday, I will get a video out about what I feel is coming next. We see Buggy, we see Shanks' boat, we see Hachinosu, we see Mihawk, and we see Crocodile. So Crocodile's theory, I had typed what I said like 2 minutes ago, 8 seconds ago. He seems to be Empty Bluffs. So we keep going. Marine HQ. We see there's no way we'll stand by quotation. So it seems like some Marines feel like they have to go for the One Piece. Vegapunk's message continues. Vegapunk ends his message. I think I've said the last 4 or 5 chapters Vegapunk's message ended, but Vegapunk's message has not ended. It should end soon. About how the fate of the world will be decided by whoever finds the One Piece. So we have Luffy, Buggy, Shanks, Blackbeard, Akainu, Dragon, Emu, Cody, Blackbeard, Garling, Sabo, and a mysterious figure with a sword that has a hilt like Shanks' Roger's sword. I'm not sure, but that's how the chapter ends. So, break next week. I want to say I read this chapter a 10 out of 10. So last chapter I talked about my last video. I talked about King and Law where they stand. So I want to say right now I feel as if King. I'm sorry, no. I feel as if Big Mom is still alive, like people theorize. Kaido, Big Mom, Law, and Kid are firmly out of the title for the One Piece, and so far, the four Yonko, Shanks, Luffy, Blackbeard, Buggy as portrayed on this chapter from right to left, and then we have Akainu. We saw the page right before this, Marines at HQ talking about going for the One Piece, and other Marines talking about, bro, that's unsafe for the civilians. Dragon, no ellipses. He's facing east. Dragon is facing east. The mysterious figure. I don't know if he's going for the One Piece. That could be the man marked by flames. He could be. So that could mean Shiki Ben the man is long. We don't know, but we will see. It could be Scopper, but Scopper uses axes. So hopefully I can show on screen during Scopper what he's a weapon if they have these hilts. If not, it's a new character. Emu. And then Kobe, I think Kobe represents sword. Akainu is his own. Akainu is part of Blackbeard's crew, but he's his own nigga. Garling should be with Emu, but it seems like the God Knights seems to be put at a different thing. And Sabo, I think Sabo holds him Ace are like the same thing. Break next week, like I mentioned before, but wow. Overall, Law and Kid firmly out of this. The last One Piece episode showed Kid getting touched. He's done. He fell in the ocean last episode. I can't show a clip because copyright. So I think Kid is out. Kid, he's not dead, but he's out. Law is just gonna be there to figure out what the will of D, because that was his dream, I think. But wow. Overall, what a chapter. I've given my rating. It's a 10 out of 10 chapter. It was like reaction piece, but we got a lot of answers. We got to see Bonnie. Bonnie didn't do much, but while Bonnie hit one punch on Saturn, it was a satisfying punch while Luffy hit most of the punches. We got to see Alba King. Whitebeard knew a lot about the Lunarians. Vivi could be at Uranus. And then we got to see the main people I feel we should be looking forward to fighting for the One Piece. I think this chapter, this should mark the end of Egghead. So, next week or at some point in the month of August, I will go through Vegapunk's message as well as go through how I feel about this arc. Anyway, I'ma fuck with you man later. I'ma catch you. See ya.